What's going on, guys? BladeZilla here, and today we are taking a look at a fancy, very special edition on the Chris Reeves Mandi. This is actually the first one of these knives I've actually seen in person. I've always been a Sebenza guy. I really love the Inkosi, really love the Umnumzans. This particular one, it was never really on my radar until now, when they did this collaboration with the R1 Invitational in late July 2025, where they added this Teal Magnetic CarboTi, Teal Magnetic CarboTi, I think that's how they say it, to this knife. They hopped up the design a lot, actually. As you can kind of see, there's a lot of little add-ons to this design. That CRK has kind of hopped it up a little bit, you know, that machined grind on there, which I've had a couple of the other showpieces come through in the sets of Sebenzas, and very similar fit and finish add-on wise, and figured I'd make grab it, make a video on it, since it's the first one of these through my hands. They are limited as well, limited pieces, and they're gorgeous. So that's what we got on the docket today. It's probably going to be a shorter video just because I'm not as knowledgeable on CRKs as I am, say, on CKFs, Shiragorovs, etc. But figured, you know what, pretty cool knife. I wanted to at least document it, take a look at it, and then kind of get going with it. So anyway, guys, as a reminder, check out BladeZilla.ca. That's me right there in Canada. Lots of cool stuff, and I just literally hit add on the Quantum TKMs. I don't know how long these are going to last in the store, but there's one currently in the store at the time of filming this. Some really cool Oldenovs as well. Those are flying way under the radar, those R1s. Those are beautiful knives. And then some restocks on some Rocksteads. Just recently added the Shiro 111 Aquatics. Super cool knife. Those will go quick too. Then the usual Q95s, Rocksteads, Protex, Microtex, CKFs, TRMs. Oh, the list goes on and on. Koenigs. There's lots of beautiful knives in the store right now on BladeZilla.ca. But we are not here to talk about BladeZilla.ca. We're here to take a look at the CRK Mandi. And I will say, I want to preface this video, I'm not a CRK nut. I don't know the brand as well as others, so I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fumble some things, and I apologize, but that's what this is all about. So let's get started off with some measurements. It's a small knife. I'm zoomed in quite a bit more than I normally am. So 6 3/8 it looks like overall length on this, maybe even 6 1/4 depending on which eye I'm squinting with. Handle length of 3 5/8 to the end there. So a tiny little gaffer. Weight-wise, I thought, you know what, I'll weigh it. I don't really know if there's a point to getting a weight on this, because I think it's sub 2 ounces if I were to guess. You know, it is targeted as kind of like a gentleman's carry. Basically, an alternative to a slip joint is probably how I would classify this one. So let's take a look. What are we, 1.5, 2 ounces? 1.5. And 1.5, okay. So in that range, at the lower end of what I said, I guessed 1.5 to 2 ounces, but I've kind of known that for a while there. They're sub 2 ounces. I just wasn't sure by how much. So tech specs on this one, well, as we can see, tiny little blade. And what did I just say? I can't even remember. Was it a 2-inch blade? Oh boy, I'm losing my marbles. 2.5 sharp? 2 5/8? Okay. There we go, 2 5/8. So this particular example is a 2 5/8 MagnaCut blade with that machine profile, which almost kind of has a polish to it. Looks beautiful. It looks like it's a glass blasted flat, if I were to guess. And then the handle itself, I don't know if you can kind of see, it's kind of got a satin flat underneath that CarboTi inlay. Really, really nicely done. Really, really pops. The CarboTi on this, honestly, having the Quantum TKMs recently go through, this Teal Magnetic CarboTi is so beautiful. There's so much to the layering of it. It really grabs your eye, especially once the light starts to kind of hit it. On the flip side, you can kind of see the frame and that gorgeous new style clip that CRK is doing. Oh my goodness, the milling on there looks real, real nice. Chris Reeves logo in there. Note, it's blasphemy to say Chris Reeves. It's Chris Reeves. A lot of people are offended by that for some reason. I don't know why. But gorgeous, nicely milled clip. We do have the blasted frame, and then underneath that CarboTi on the back as well. So you can see it's blasted on the lock bar, and then it's got that satin flat kind of polish to it. Looks nice. The pivot, I believe this is on phosphor bronze. It feels lighter than a Sebenza, but if you look down the front of it, you can usually see, yeah, you can see like those little phosphor bronze discs typically, and I think I see them in there. To me, this is a gentleman's carry. Small, it's classy, it's lightweight, well built. It's an alternative to a slip joint. That's how I would probably classify this knife. You know, it's going to be at a price point that is probably competing with like a full-size knife or a full-size Sebenza, given the hop-ups and materials on this particular model. But you know what? There's a limited number of these, and they're not going to be made again. And that's what's so cool about it. We've kind of got also the Chris Reeves hardware. I'm just noticing now it's got a blue finish to it, and I thought most of them were kind of silver in nature. So it's kind of cool, and this could be a new thing. I don't know. Like I said, this is where I'm kind of just bending my understanding a little bit, but I always thought the logoing on there wasn't colored. So blue looks great. Looks actually really nice. Nicely matched. No backspacer on this as well. Just the blasted frame, so really smooth in hand. And that clip is attached internally, it looks like, as part of, well, that's a nice little detail. So that's attached through the standoff on the back here, it looks like. I don't know if that can be worn out or if that's going to be a problem down the line with stripping, because that would be my first question. But while it works, it's a lovely little detail where there's no hardware external on this clip. Super cool. The lock bar, it is not a liner lock, it is a standard style lock. Remember, if we go back in time 20 plus years, the Reeves lock, or Reeve lock, I'm contradicting myself earlier when I said the Chris Reeves, the Reeve lock was a patent, right? So that's kind of what started all these. And their claim to fame is this monster, like 3/4 lockup on a lot of their knives. And as you can kind of see on that lock bar, it's, if it wants to focus, it's very aggressive. So they're solid, really, really solid. We've got the cutouts externally on this as well, to the design, which is nice. But the beauty in this, like I said, is that Teal Magnetic CarboTi that's just gorgeous and popping, and it's nicely beveled around the edges, very smooth, not a sharp angle in sight, very classy, and would look real good matched with your you know, your green type suits, or even your browns. It would look real nice with. In the color there, we have some titanium flakes, we've got some dark charcoal like colors, some blacks. It's a real mix in the colorway, and I really dig it. In hand, so remember, I'm an extra large glove. My hand is a little big for this knife, but by design, it's only supposed to be a 3-finger knife. You're not really getting a 4th on here, although in theory, I suppose if you wanted to add a lanyard, could you? You know, it might get in the way of that perfectly centered blade. You'd probably cut into it. I don't know how you would add a lanyard other than maybe routing it behind that clip. If there's a will, there's a way. That people have taught me that over and over again. And why I'm saying that is if you added a lanyard with a bead, maybe you could add a little length to the handle. But being a gentleman's carry, this one is not meant to be an aggressive heavy user. This is something that you're probably opening letter mail with and things of that nature. Nothing too crazy. Maybe carving an apple for your lunch outside the courtroom, or let's be honest, cutting threads on your Armani suit, possibly. Who knows? Who knows? No milling on the inside of this. As far as I can tell, I didn't think they did much on that front anyway. And this is, yeah, no real big thing there. And you can kind of see on the inside, there's a couple little holes right around here, which is where I assume they attach that CarboTi. So pretty cool little details there. In terms of sizing, you know what, I'll show it with a couple, we have to zoom out a little bit here. I'll show it with a couple of my standard CRKs. This small Sebenza, which is not a big knife, will dwarf this. There you go. And it looks closer than it is if I flip the two, because the camera's angled from the front. It'll actually make this look quite a bit smaller. So for reference, I can put it down below. And there, that's exactly what I was trying to get at. So why don't I move that up to the center of the frame and do it like this. I think that's a little more accurate representation on a small Sebenza. It's a small knife, guys. But it's not the size, it's how you use it. There's your large Sebenza, which is basically, you know what, I can't even fit it in the frame because I'm zoomed in more than normal. So I want to do that. There we go. Massive beast. And you can basically see the entire Mandi fits where the blade of the Sebenza is. So guys, not a big knife. And the Sebenza is a big knife. It's a large drop point. But just to give you an idea, I love little things like this, being like, yeah, that's the Sebenza. That's the entire blade, you know, folded up. So it's a small little one. To me, if, you know, I'm buying this, this is you put this one in your suit pocket. It just makes the most sense for me. Like that's the ultimate, you know, this is probably, I can't even, what was it, the table on this, 700 US? You had to buy a pass for the show, which was 100 plus the knife, so you're in 750 US table on this knife, and they're limited number of pieces, there won't be many of them around, get them while you can kind of thing. This is the only other piece I was able to actually get in the lottery during the July show, which, let's be honest, there were some absolute bangers this month. Geez, I really, really wanted to grab that that Loxa, but I imagine every single person that paid their entry fee got into the Loxa draw. So somebody lucky got that gorgeous, gorgeous knife, but I'll keep trying. Anytime there's a Loxa, I'm in. But yeah, figured I'd show this. The question is, can you thumb flick it? I don't know. I think you could probably, with a little luck and maybe wearing this in, you could probably flick it with your thumb. You could probably reverse flick it. It's not a big cutout in the blade. And also, if my memory serves me correct, I seem to recall, and guys, please correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm making this up. This is just my memory from years of reading knife articles and forums and stuff. I thought that there was a pivot bushing on these. That is unlike the other knives in the CRK lineup. So I thought you couldn't really over tighten this one. And then looking closely, it looks like the hardware sinks inside some kind of a bushing. So there might be something there and that dead end on the front there. I could be wrong, but I thought there was some kind of bushing system in place on the Mandi that the other knives didn't have. So that'd be kind of cool. It definitely has some really smooth action. Even compared to a stock or a brand new Sebenza, I feel like it's a little smoother. So that's cool. And these guys will only get smoother with time as those bushings break in. So that's kind of cool. Super, super cool. Yeah, that's a nice little one. I might have to actually pick up one of these. Or I might have to pick up one of these. I don't know, during the day, I actually tend to dress up, you know, a few days a week. And I've looked constantly for something. Like I've been using neons from Shiro. They're really great little mini carries in terms of everyday carry. But an F95 I always felt was a little big. And then in the CRK line, I always felt like even a small Sebenza was a little thick. Good size lengthwise, but just a little thick of a knife. And a large Sebenza, you're not putting that in a suit jacket. Although, like I said, people do it. I don't, but people do it. Where am I going with this? All I'm saying is this is a really nice size knife and well put together, good materials, titanium and MagnaCut, beautiful heat treat on it, beautiful Teal CarboTi inlays on there, Teal Magnetic CarboTi inlays, and with that finely ground blade finish on there, that's an add-on for a CRK. That's a nice little touch, and then they're limited. I don't know how many they made. I did see there were some numbers printed on the inside of this. I can't really tell while I'm filming this what it says. I don't want to waste a minute and a half, but I will take the flashlight of my camera, my thing, and see if it's numbered. I don't know if it's a meaningful number or not, but there's something on the inside here. It could be a production run. I know they were made, the COA on these, it says April 29th, 2025. So they are, you know, in advance of the show. This stuff is pre-ordered, booked, made, etc. So it was made a few months ago, which is kind of cool. But I'm assuming that it was a production run because the number, if you were to number these, I'm trying to recall where they put it on the Semenza set. I've had a couple of them come through from the white CarboTi series, and they were physically numbered, which was always cool. There might be something on the inside. Who knows? I can't tell with a camera in front of my face directly, but there's something. There's something. What else on this? They're gorgeous. I really, truly love the coloring of this Teal Magnetic CarboTi series that they're using at the R1 Invitational in 2025. I'm really curious to see. You know, I saw that non-typical Loxa. I've seen some Kirby Lamberts. Like, they're really banging out some knives that are just stepping things to the next level. And now CRK, they're getting involved. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm curious to see, you know, I've had a couple of the Koenigs come through. I didn't get any this lottery time around. I guess those were pretty in demand, and I hit on them last time. This time they were a DLC Koenig, and they looked real sharp. But I still have, I think, one of those Koenigs in the store, actually. A flipper Koenig Arius. Or is it a mini Arius? I can't remember. And they might be mini Ariuses. I think I still have one in the store. So take a look at that, and it's got that cool Teal Magnetic CarboTi as well. Beautiful knives. I actually kind of prefer the standard to the DLC, which I was kind of like, well, I'll enter everything and get what I get, but I really prefer non-DLC in the Ariuses and mini Arius. Just my preference. And then this one, oh, gorgeous. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to do a quick, 5, 10, 15-minute video. Who knows where I'm at now? Video on the Mandi, just because they're so cool, and I've never actually gotten to do a video for the channel and play with one for an extended period of time, just because it's never really been on my radar. But now that I have one in hand, I understand the hype and why they're so cool, and why people love these things. And please, guys, don't limit yourself to the Teal Magnetic CarboTi version like this. They make plain Janes, they make some with some cool bog oaks and maple burl inlays and all kinds of cool configurations. They're not all going to have the same blade grind, but, you know, it's a cool knife. So I really dig it. And can it front flip? Oh, they missed the boat and an opportunity to make that a bit of a front flipper. It's close. A little bit extra, you could have a front flipper on this. Or maybe it's there. You can move the blade. Once again, this is the lack of my CRK knowledge completely. So hopped up clip, hopped up blade grind, and hopped up materials / fit and finish on the titanium on here is different than normal. So that's gorgeous as far as I can tell. There's probably something else I missed. There's probably 10 things I missed, but I apologize in advance. I told you guys. So don't hate on it. All right, well, appreciate you stopping by and taking a look. And any questions, leave them below. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, you name it. If you're on the YouTube right now, which should be watching the video on YouTube, throw a thumbs up. It helps the video every Monday and Thursday, like clockwork, other than when there's a cool new launch. If I miss the video on the Monday, you know something's dropping on the Tuesday, and I'll have a video to try to accompany it. Otherwise, have yourself a great week. Appreciate you stopping by. And we'll catch you soon. Peace, guys.